me talk about a problem that I encountered at work. We have often multi-step processes that can take a long period of time, and a lot of these are not very complex, but they are very detailed. So there's a lot of things that have to happen in a certain order, and they may all take different lengths of time. So it's easy to lose track of where process is at, and it often get stuck with individuals, and then nobody knows who it's stuck with and who we're waiting on. And sometimes you have more than one process going at a time. For example, if you are hiring a couple of people, each person has to go through a number of things in the process of onboarding, which includes like training, getting a phone, getting a computer, getting access to the network, getting access to resources, going through orientation, etc. There's a whole number of things actually that are part of onboarding that need to happen in a certain order. And if we're waiting on somebody for this process to continue, it might not be clear who we're waiting on. So I thought a software would be a good way to automate this process. So the software would document the flowchart, and the flowchart would track itself as it notified everybody of what they had to do. So most of my customer development before starting real customer development most of the experience that I had came from my own personal experience, and then the customer development I also was able to do at work. So I talked to employees and managers about this idea, and I got some positive feedback. They thought it would be very useful to have the at-a-glance status, so you could just click on your process and see who's done what, and you could tell the software, just notify the person who we're waiting. But I did a little more research on the idea of automating processes at work, and there's some software already out there that does this. Basecamp and other software that specializes in workflow management and process flow already does this kind of thing, and the space is pretty saturated. And to create the minimum viable product was not easy, because the one that I did create was done in Excel, and it was more or less a glorified checklist. It was not able to act like an application, which would take a significant amount more effort, and it had to be complex enough to create a proper MVP. But because of the saturation of the market in this software, I decided to move forward with the idea of real estate, which kind of spoke to me a lot. So the new fundamental problem I thought I wanted to look at was that it would solve a process, but would actually be a central automator for interactions with the realtors, the lawyers, the title companies, and property finders, on the basis that most deals are pretty similar, and maybe you could automate it. So I tried to do a little custom development with this, and located some property investors and property-related people who could give me some feedback. And one property manager from Canada said that automating such a system would be difficult because of the relationships that you have to build and maintain, and the software kind of like prevents you, and it didn't really feel like that was going to work too well. So I kind of had to forget about software. And then I thought, well, I don't want to forget about real estate, so let's keep on going in this direction and see where this goes. So I thought about, maybe people want property because there's a stock market crash and real estate crash too, but now maybe real estate is at the bottom. So the bottom is probably good because nowhere to go but up. So maybe it's a good time to invest. They could automate the process, but I really don't want to go down that road because we talked about software already. What about having a model where I help people find good investment deals without software? So I did some customer development with this, talked to a few people about, homeowners specifically, who may be interested in doing an investment in real estate, and most of them were of the opinion that it's a really bad time to invest in real estate because the market is terrible, and they might be willing to invest money in the investments, but not in a property. Some people who did want property, just a couple, needed help finding a good deal to invest in, but they had very clear requirements what they wanted, and they just wanted one property, like they wanted a cottage or lakefront property, and they knew what their price targets were for that and the general area, so they knew exactly what they wanted, but they just wanted one property, and that's not really scalable. They're not going to be repeat customers at all, so I wanted something that would have repeat customers where I could invest in more than one property. So I went to work trying to find some Michigan property investors, specifically here, so I could meet with them. And working with some realtors, I found some investors, but primarily international investors. And the realtors typically tended to work with retail buyers who are moving, for example, not so much investors. But there are some realtors who do work with investors, but I was not able to locate investors that way. So I did. And he told me about his requirements. He has a basic location that he's looking for, an area, and looks for specific types of homes, 3-bed, 2-bath, around 30,000 or less, and he wants to fix and flip them. He would welcome help finding a good deal and is willing to pay fee for that deal. So that's a potential source of revenue for value. If I can help him find good deals, he's willing to pay me. So I came up with a new model, which is I can provide Michigan property investors with potential property investment deals. I would find homeowners who need to sell their properties and get these homeowners in touch with the developers so that they could exchange the deal, and then I would be paid a finder's fee, and the homeowners would receive cash for their property. So that's the basic idea. There's a lot of other pivots I could do, but this is where I'm at, and I'm pretty happy with it. So I'm definitely going to continue down this path and see where it goes. All right, thanks for your time.